Viewers, Assalamu alaikum. Myself Farooq Geelani. Today we are with the third chapter of class 12th, that's US hegemony in world affairs. Today we will deal with its sub-chapters like constraints of US power, challenge to the US hegemony, and US-India relations. In previous chapter, we came to know that US is showing its hegemony in terms of its hard power, in terms of its structural power, and in terms of its soft power. But there are certain constraints in the way of US to remain as a hegemon. The first thing which is a constraint in the way of USA is the institutional architecture of the US. As we know, in US there are the checks and balance system in which the legislature, the executive and the judiciary are performing checks and balance on each other. As such, whenever any kind of action is being initiated, the organs need to have a consensus over that issue. Once any organ will oppose that, it will become a constraint in the way of US hegemony. Likewise, we are having the openness of American society. The openness of American society, we mean in America, the people are well read, well educated. They don't cast their votes without knowing the manifesto of the parties. After that, the parties come into power. Once the party will follow or initiate any kind of action which is not good action, the action which is not result-oriented action, the action which is not fruitful for the American society, the society opposes the decisions of the government, as we have seen when in the year 1991, when Iraq was forced by America and its allies to withdraw its troops from the Kuwait, and when the arbitrary actions were taken, when this Operation Desert Storm started, the American society opposed that action within the Iraq. Likewise, we are having another constraint, that is NATO. We know the NATO, which emerged in the year 1949 with its 12 allies, in which it was decided that these 12 allied countries will perform a collective security. Besides it, this NATO group of people, America is having a large, vast economic transition with these countries. Number one. Number two, American idea, the idea of market economy, the idea of capitalism has been spread by these countries throughout the globe. So this is a close. So once America wants any kind of action in any part of the globe, it is necessary for the America to come with the consent of with these countries in order to facilitate, in order to provide them an opportunity in the decision making of the America. So it is deemed that NATO is one of the obstacles, a constraint in the way of America to take its decisions. Likewise, we are having the media and the NGOs. We know that the American society, which is very much educated society, the very much qualified society, their media plays good role, and the NGOs throughout the globe, throughout the borders, criticize the atrocious policies of the hegemon whenever hegemon is taking any kind of decision in order to show its hegemony, in order to show its dominance, in order to show its monopolization. These NGOs and the media persons oppose them throughout globe, which becomes an obstacle in the way of US to show its hegemony. Likewise, this America has emerged nowadays as the global head, or nowadays the whole globe or the whole world is regarded as a global village. Whenever the people of the same village see that there is some kind of atrocities, some kind of those policies are being applied on the people which people do not like or which people do not tolerate, as such it becomes intolerable. As such it becomes intolerable, and people show the resistance against the global against the village head. Here we can refer this global head, this village head as the global head, as America is being opposed by the residents of the globe as due to their intolerance or showing their resistance towards the America. Likewise, there are certain challenges to the US hegemony. If the another topic is challenges to the US hegemony, the challenge to the US hegemony can be overcome. The US hegemony can be resisted by means of military coalition. The newly emerging countries or the countries just like India, just like China, just like Russia, if they will come together to form an allies and will show a military might which will have the strength equivalent to the American military, that coalition will become a challenge to the US hegemony in the world politics. Likewise, we are having, if we want to, another challenge for the countries is that once a country wish to put forward his views or to go against the hegemon, the hegemon has the power. The hegemon has the power to stop this country doing any kind of unlawful action. As such, some countries have opted for this bandwagon strategy. By bandwagon strategy, we mean that the countries are going together with the hegemon to play that part. The hegemon does, they are favoring the hegemon and taking the advantage of the hegemon's technology, taking the advantage of hegemon's economy and becoming more and more friendly with the hegemon in order to show his loyalty to the hegemon, and hegemon does not keep its way closed, and the hegemon allows it to get more and more boost from its technology. Another game is played by the group of countries which is known as hide strategy. Under hide strategy, the smaller countries are playing their role. They are going for the nuclear tests, they are going for the economic upliftments, and they are going for doing some kind of actions, but keeping all these actions hidden. They are not showing these actions before the hegemon. As such, hegemon, when once the hegemon come to know that such kind of actions are being taken, the hegemon can stop them, but they are commencing these actions, but keeping the hegemon unaware about their plans and about their programs. Likewise, the NGOs throughout the world, they are making consensus. They are showing that they are making themselves that they can give that they can give a challenge to the American hegemony in order to show the world that this America is not an alone power within the globe. So these are the constraints and these are the challenges of the US hegemony. The another topic related with within the chapter is US-India relations. As we know, when India came into being, when India got its independence in the year 1947, after that, India followed the path of non-alignment. The non-alignment means here was only to keep away from the power politics, to keep away from the US bloc, to keep away from the Soviet bloc. But in the year 1954, US showed its support in the UN General Assembly towards Pakistan when it favored the Pakistan's point of view over the issue of Kashmir. Another thing, in 1962, the American President F. John Kennedy thought that this non-alignment movement is an alternative to the communism. As such, he told that we are neither enemies to India and we do not have any kind of hostility with India. But in the year 1965 and 71, when the wars took place between India and Pakistan, America showed its tilt towards Pakistan, as Pakistan was one of the members of the CENTO. As such, there remained cool relations between India and Pakistan. After that, in 1974, India India made the experiment of nuclear explosions. After that, US and the Indian relations remain once again cool. But in the year 1980, when USSR, in the 1978, when USSR made his entry in in Afghanistan in order to relegate the Islamic ideology, in order to overthrow the Islamic government within the Afghanistan, the US once again came closer to the Pakistan in order to provide ammunitions, in order to provide technology to vanish, to uproot that organization, the USSR from Afghanistan. Likewise, but since after the disintegration of USSR, after the disintegration of USSR, after the shock therapy in USSR, after the end of USSR or the Second World, US emerged as the sole power on the globe. As such, in the year 1991, India adopted the policy of globalization. Under this policy of globalization, India came closer to the USA. For example, nowadays we can say that in software exports, India is one of the members of the world who is having software export of 65% from USA. So this has made India very much close to the America. Likewise, the Indian origin set-off, near about 35% of the Indian origin set-off is working within the America, which is contributing a lot to the American society as well as to the Indian society, which has resulted in the friendship relations between the two nations. Likewise, 3 lakh laborers are working in the Silicon Valley. Likewise, 15% of high-tech startups are responsible between India and USA. So this has made India and USA very much close to each other. Likewise, there are so many schools of thoughts who are giving their opinion about the India's relations with the America. The first group of who are the opposite to the Indian closeness to the America, they are saying, the first group of scholars, the first group of politicians, the first group of leaders, they are opposing that USA is a stronger or the strongest military power in the world. Once we will come very much close to them, it will be not fruitful for the Indian society, so they are opposing it. The another group of people who are pro-US, they are saying that once we will come very much closer to the hegemon, we will take the advantage of the hegemon, we will remain with the hegemon, we will go to follow the bandwagon strategy, we will come with the areas of those areas which are mutual convergence, those areas which are the mutual convergence, will follow those areas in order to give boost to our economy, in order to give boost to our military, in order to get more and more technology from this hegemon. The another group of scholars believe that in India, India should follow the path of non-alignment. They should have their coalitions with the third world countries in order to have a front, in order to have its might, in order to show its worth, in order to prove that it can give an opposition to the USA. Likewise, nowadays, once we are seeing the relations between India and Pakistan, we have seen when Taj Hotel in Mumbai was attacked on 26th of November 2008, USA declared that attack as an attack of terror. After that, in 2009, Barack Hussein Obama and Manmohan Singh hold the meetings and paid visits to each other's countries in order to show cordiality, in order to show friendship relations. Likewise, in 2010, USA supported the permanent membership of India in the United Nations Security Council. Likewise, in the recent past, in 2019, when this Narendra Modi paid visit to the America and he spoke before the large gatherings of the NRIs, with his counterpart, Trump. they spoke together, and they showed that they are two friends to each other. Likewise, Trump paid visit in 2019 to India, where he was welcomed with a furious welcome. So we can say that India and USA have come very much closer to each other, and they are having cordial relations. So this is all about this topic. We will in the next video we will discuss the fourth chapter of class 12th. Thank you. Have a nice day.